Good evening and welcome. This is India Today and we are following up on our big investigation, Operation Mathura. Over the next 30 minutes, we'll get you all the big political reactions which really set off massive debate from Lucknow all the way to New Delhi. Operation Mathura, which shows how the Samajwadi Party government and its police force knew all along about what was going on in Mathura. Not one, not two, but 80 intelligence warnings were received but totally ignored. In a moment from now, Javed Ahmed, the Director General of Police of Uttar Pradesh, will be reacting and speaking to us exclusively from Lucknow. But before that, let me get you all the political reactions to this big India Today investigation.
हमारी लिखा पढ़ी में हर क्यों बिका हमने कहा 80 प्रत्यावेदन भेजे ड्यू लेटर होते हैं ना जो ड्यू नोट्स 80 भेजे हैं 80
वो बता कि सरकार के क्रिमिनल बैठे हैं यार हमको अरेस्टिंग नहीं कर दी तो फिर फेलियर का आएगा सरकार जब हम कुछ करने नहीं दे रहे हैं
तो इतना दिन मॉडल लाठी थी उन्होंने कुछ नहीं पूछा कि बात करने आए अधिकारी क्या है उन्हें बुरी तरह से धुनाई कर दी
India Today's investigation, Operation Mathura, has exposed how Uttar Pradesh's rulers in Lucknow simply dismissed specific intelligence, that a disastrous face-off was just waiting to explode. The local intelligence unit chief of the Mathura police, Inspector Munilal Kaur, revealed how he sent reports warning of trouble brewing at Jawahar Bagh, but no action was taken.
हमारी लिखा पढ़ी में हर क्यों बिका हमने कहा 80 प्रत्यावेदन भेजे ड्यू लेटर होते हैं ना जो ड्यू नोट्स 80 भेजे हैं 80 करीब 250-300 पन्ने की है रिपोर्ट हमारी अलग अलग गेटों में के महीने में 4 भेजे कभी 5 भेजे जब जैसी घटना परिस्थितियां आई वैसे मैंने लिखता भेजता रहा जमानत में आशंका व्यक्त करता रहा
Inspector Gaur even showed us copies of his intelligence dossiers on the Mathura cult. Documents that mentioned that there were illegal weapons being stocked and that men and women in Mathura were battle ready.
यहाँ उल्लेखनीय है संगठन जुड़े उपद्रवियों के बच्चे महिला पुरुषों की संख्या अधिक होने की एवं संगठन के प्रति समर्पित विवाह सोने कार्ड या लोग अपने साथ करीब 3 फीट डंडा झंडा हर समय रखते हैं जो हर समय पुलिस प्रशासन जानते झगड़ने के लिए एवं हर परिस्थिति का सामना करने के लिए तैयार रहते हैं ऐसा भी संज्ञान में आया कि ये लोग अपने साथ अवैध असला भी रखे हुए हैं जिनका समय आने पर प्रयोग भी करने से नहीं चूकेंगे
India Today's investigation has made one thing clear, that while the local police had specific information about trouble at the park, they were rendered completely helpless.
ये तो फिर आप लोगों का भी तो फेलियर है कि आप लोग पता नहीं करते
पाएगा
हथियारों के पास आ रहे हैं
वही चीज़ है जब हमको पता कि सरकार के क्रिमिनल बैठे हैं यार हमको अरेस्टिंग नहीं कर दी तो फिर फेलियर का आएगा सरकार जब हम कुछ करने नहीं दे रहे आप 2 आदमी एक तमंचे लिए घूम रहे हैं कुछ नहीं कर रहे हैं
And when the police went into that Mathura park, they were attacked by the so-called cult satyagrahis.
रात में 1:30 बजे की बात थी तो इतना दिन मॉडल लाठी थी उन्होंने कुछ नहीं पूछा कि बात करने आए अधिकारी क्या है उन्हें बुरी तरह से धुनाई कर दी हम लोगों
India Today's sensational investigation has sparked massive outrage, with the opposition demanding UP Chief Minister Akhilesh Yadav's resignation.
कि वैसे तो समाजवादी पार्टी की सरकार जब उत्तर प्रदेश में आती है जमीनों पे कब्जे होना बाहुबलियों का भय और आतंक होना एक स्वाभाविक प्रक्रिया है
इस सरकार को एक क्षण के लिए भी सत्ता में बने रहने का अधिकार नहीं
BJP is equally responsible as the administration of Mathura is responsible.
India Today's sting operation reveals that the June 2nd firefight could have been stopped had the Samajwadi Party government acted with sincerity to the killer threat from the Mathura park. In Mathura and Delhi, this is India Today's special investigation team.
I want to go across now live and exclusive to Lucknow. Joining us from there is the Director General of Uttar Pradesh Police, the man whose responsibility it was to ensure law and order in the state and the man on whose watch 29 people were killed. He literally has blood on his hands. Javed Ahmed is now joining my colleague, India Today's executive editor, Javed Ansari. Javed, take it away.
Yes, sir. I have with me Mr. Javed Ahmed, the DGP of Uttar Pradesh Police. Javed Sahab, India Today has done an investigation which reveals that the local LIU sent you all 80 reports, one even the night before the incident happened, and yet apparently the state government and the state apparatus took no notice of it.
The exact numbers are not relevant. The LIU had been sending us reports about the activities of the encroachers.
Why weren't they acted upon?
They were. It's not correct to say that they were not acted upon. There have been attempts in the past to evict them. They were not successful. Cases are registered against persons who were involved in that. Even on the day when this incident was happening, as is now well known, we had moved a lot of police force, including PAC and other forces, to launch our final attack and clear the place. As it happened, the plan fell through because on the 2nd, a recce team came under unprovoked attack, and we had no choice but to go in and evacuate the place. I would like to highlight one thing, that even though there has been some violence and we have lost 2 brave boys, and there have been deaths on the other side, the fact of the matter is that the task was accomplished. The place is clean.
Yeah, but the charge against your police, your department is that perhaps if you all had paid heed to those reports and acted earlier, all this could have been avoided.
We had been operating a siege of that Jawahar Bagh area for the last 4 to 6 weeks. This is well known. So to say that we woke up one day and started to act is not correct. We had a plan, we were working to a plan. We could not carry out the plan as per our schedule, but on the 2nd, as I said, unprovoked firing happened, and then we achieved our target.
You couldn't carry on the plan? Was there political pressure not to act against them from the chief minister or from other ministers in the government?
On the contrary, absolutely, there was no pressure at all from anyone. We had a High Court order to implement, and we had absolutely no problem in implementing it, except that we had to have a plan which we wanted to mature and then carry out.
So who's responsible? Where does the failure lie?
Let the inquiry commission see that.
So that was Mr. Javed Ahmed with camera person Khandpal. This is Javed Ansari in Lucknow for India Today.
I want to go across now to my guests who are joining us on this broadcast. Sambit Patra representing the BJP. We've got Rajiv Rai from the Samajwadi Party. Vikram Singh is the former Director General of Police. I want to go across first and foremost to Vikram Singh, because you just heard the Director General of Police in Uttar Pradesh at this time, Javed Ahmed, say that yes, we received those inputs. He is not able to explain why his police force, Mr. Singh, did not act on the inputs it's received. What's the point of receiving all these inputs telling you that people are getting together with weapons unless you act on those inputs, sir?
You are very true, Mr. Rahul, that I do empathize with Javed, our Director General of Police, a very fine police officer, but his hands are tied. He did not have the discretion to act upon it. Obviously, the things are showing otherwise. Arvind Jain, the former DGP, says that I wrote to the government in writing. He said it in writing that this place needs to be evacuated of these criminal elements, and the government turned it down. This happened in 2015. And in spite of getting 80 intelligence report, one senior officer, and at the political level it is said that there was no intelligence input, and then now the DGP, the poor soul, is put across to the media to say yes, there were intelligence reports and we did act upon it. What kind of action is this, that when you choose to act in a manner that is, if there is a trophy for the sloppiest operation ever in the last few decades, this trophy will go to the Jawahar Bagh, and the people of UP would bequeath the shame of the death of 2 brave officers into this botched-up operations. Let me tell you, whatever Javed, a dear friend of mine, may say, I can well empathize with him that the truth is that there were intelligence inputs. Your sting operation says it all. It has opened a can of worms, and it has been very difficult for them to get away for what Mundi Lal Gaur has said, what Tomar has said, and what you have brought out in your sting operations. I would totally discount what Javed, the DGP, has said just now.
You're saying you want to discount what the DGP is saying. You're a former Director General yourself. You're pinning the blame entirely on the Samajwadi Party. I want to go across to Rajiv Rai, because what's very clear, if you listen to what Vikram Singh is saying, he says that you're making the Director General of Police out to be the fall guy, getting him to admit that inputs were received, whereas it's the police force which would have acted if the political establishment had given them the permission to. The Samajwadi Party government is guilty of not giving the police force the orders to act when they should have. How do you respond, Rajiv Rai?
Arvind Jain's request.
Former DGP is associated with a political party. Now he can make his political statement. Nothing more I have to add. Whatever our DGP has spoken, other than that, is rest of the things will come out only when the inquiry commission report comes out. Before that, I do not know what is this whole thing about, that passing the judgment before the inquiry commission starts working or submits the report. We cannot have a media trial for 2, 3, 4, 5 days and pass a judgment. Whatever from the police side.
Not a media trial. You've got concrete evidence through the letters that one second. Inspector Munnilal Gaur reads out from the intelligence reports which were sent to Lucknow, intelligence reports which were ignored.
Where do have evidence? Where do you have evidence where the government has denied permission?
Did you see, sir, the intelligence reports? Did you see the intelligence reports that your own local intelligence unit chief is talking about?
Intelligence reports nowhere says the government has not given us permission.
Yes, sir, the intelligence report says again and again that people are getting together, that they are history sheeters, they have weapons. Your government looked the other way.
As Mr. Bikram Singh was telling, where is the proof where government has denied permission, or whereas government has stopped them for that?
I find this totally incredulous. I want to bring in one second. Vikram Singh wants to come in and respond to your totally bogus argument. Go ahead, Vikram.
Mr. Rahul, first of all, I do not belong to any political outfit. I would be happy if Mr. Rai were to enlighten me in which political party I belong to. I am not suffering from amnesia. Number two, Arvind Jain, again, an independent ex-DGP, he said that he wrote to the government in this present political outfit, but that permission to raid Jawahar Bagh was denied. Evidence number two. Then evidence number three of Munnilal Gaur, that in spite of so many intelligence inputs, the government chose not to react. Evidence number three. It is not a media trial because nobody is interested in a media trial. It is hardcore evidence acceptable in any court of law in this country, and now it is. This is the evidence. If you choose to ignore it, well,
I want to bring in Sambit Patra of the BJP because the Samajwadi Party Government is saying at this time, Sambit, that okay, you've got officials from the Uttar Pradesh police saying they sent evidence, that they sent information about a build-up, but you don't have anyone saying that the SP government said don't act. That's a rather incredulous question, but the SP is asking that. How do you respond, Sambit?
First, I was listening very intently to what the Director General, the present Director General of Police, Mr. Javed, had to say to your interview. I was really disturbed when he said this. I have even written down what he had said. Even though there was some violence, the task has been accomplished. The place is clean. Even though there has been some violence, you lost 2 police officers. In total, 29 people are dead, and you call this even though there has been some violence. No, this is not the way, sir, and this is highly unbecoming of a Director General of Police when he says that this is some violence and only 29 people have died, but we have been successful in erecting the park. You have been extremely unsuccessful. What you could have achieved easily years ago, you could not achieve. You achieved only after laying down the lives of 29 people. Now, secondly, as far as the arguments of the Samajwadi Party spokesperson and their leaders are concerned, see, they have been caught red-handed. I should first congratulate the India Today group for having conducted such kind of explicit sting operations where everything is self-evident. No one has to speak over these evidences, in the sense that 80 reports, LIU reports were sent, 250 to 300 pages. And I was going through every statement of Mr. God, the inspector of LIU, and he was saying that these reports were being sent on a day-to-day basis. And if I'm wrong, correct me, Rahul, Mr. God says that just one day before the crackdown, another report was sent, and the report was explicit in mentioning that marne par utaru hai. Yes.
Rajiv Rai, what else do you want? When a former Director General of Police, Arvind Jain, is coming out and saying he sought permission for eviction, that permission was denied. When you've got the local intel chief saying he wrote not once, not twice, 80 times, saying that there's a weapons build-up taking place, we must come down hard. What else does the Samajwadi Party government need?
No, that is the very precise. That is the reason why we have constituted judicial commission. Let all those evidence come before the judicial commission, and whatever the finding of the judicial commission will be there, we'll act upon that. What else can be done in this situation? This unfortunate, shocking incident has happened. We are very sad. We are very disturbed.
Sambit, many in the BJP are asking for a CBI probe. The Samajwadi Party government says there's a judicial commission that's inquiring into this. Yes, Sambit wants to come in. Stay with me, Rajiv.
Yes,
Sambit wants to come in. Yes, Sambit, go ahead, please.
Mr. Rajiv, allow me to respond. Mr. Rajiv, yes, you're absolutely right, Rahul. We in the BJP want a CBI probe. And why do we want a CBI probe? Let me explain the reasons. Yesterday, after seeing your sting, look, number one, Mr. God says that 80 reports were sent. He then goes ahead to say that the DM, that is the district magistrate, and the SSP, after going through our reports, send report to the Home Ministry, that is the Home Secretary. And the Home Secretary received it. Who is the Home Minister of Uttar Pradesh? None other than Akhilesh Yadav, who is the Chief Minister. So if he's the Home Minister, and if all these reports are being sent to the Home Secretary, as was pointed out in the sting operation, so naturally Mr. Akhilesh Pratap Yadav, the Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh, was in know all. He was knowing all these things. These 80 reports, 250 pages, 300 pages was on his desk. Despite all this, the Chief Minister chose to keep his eyes closed. So naturally, a commission inquired by him, a commission constituted by him would not suffice, and a CBI inquiry
Vikram Singh, do you believe that a judicial probe is enough? Because the opposition is saying there must be a CBI probe. I in fact think that there should be neither. There should be a Supreme Court or a High Court monitored probe. That's the only way to do it. That's the only way to the only way to ensure that this probe is thorough, honest, and completely above political parties and politics. How do you respond, Vikram Singh?
Mr. Rahul, I would say that the Supreme Court monitored CBI inquiry is the only inquiry that would be credible and acceptable. All the inquiries, even the so-called judicial inquiries held earlier by the present political dispensation, was something akin to making a lot of noise and dropping the matter there. These inquiry commissions, you will forgive my saying so, are pre-programmed and preset and pre-monitored in a manner that the outcome is obvious even today. Because you choose to see what you want to see and ignore what you do is unpalatable. In the face of such overwhelming evidence, there is a doctrine in law that is known as doctrine of presumption. If something like this has happened, what is your presumption? What do you say prima facie and then go ahead? But if you feel that I will see at nothing till I get the finding of
absolutely
inquiry
Rajiv
commission,
Rai,
well,
because is that not something not acceptable to you? Let there be a Supreme Court or a High Court monitored probe. Because if it's a CBI probe, you'll say Modi government is trying to fix you. Let it be a court monitored probe.
Gone to these people. No, they had rightly approached Supreme Court, and if Supreme Court has turned down, they have not accepted their plea, what should I do? What can we do? If Supreme Court had order, we would have followed that.
Okay.
What best we think in our wisdom, we are doing that.
A new BJP leader had gone to the Supreme Court with this application, that application was turned down. The Samajwadi Party government says that the Supreme Court had accepted it, we'd be fine.
No. I'll tell you the whole story about it. As far as Mr. Upadhyay going to the Supreme Court for a CBI inquiry was concerned, the Supreme Court said that, the petition was about let's have a CBI inquiry. The Supreme Court, after hearing, said that since the Allahabad High Court is looking into the matter and this eviction was on the orders of Allahabad High Court, let the Allahabad High Court hear the case completely. If there is a verdict, thereafter you can come to us. So since the whole thing is Allahabad High Court, let the Allahabad High Court take a call. That's it. It's not that they rejected the plea. They have not rejected anything. But having said this, it's absolutely clear. It's clear that the buck stops not with the administrative officers or the Director General of Police.
That's what I'm saying as well, that there must be a court-monitored probe. It doesn't necessarily need to be a Supreme Court-monitored probe. It can be a High Court-monitored probe as well. Would that be okay with you, Rajiv Rai?
No, as Mr. Samit Patra rightly said, the matter is before, and Supreme Court has stated matter is before a High Court. If High Court feels so, we will have no problem to that. Let us, we have nothing to hide. We have nothing to hide. We want the truth must come out. And our Honorable Chief Minister has very in the beginning accepted that there has been some lapse. We have no point of time we have justified this incident. Nobody can justify, and we are
I have one question to Mr. Rajiv.
Sambit, I'm out of time, so I have only 20 seconds. Go ahead, please.
Just 10 seconds. No, my question is, Rahul, why does the High Court or the Supreme Court has to ask for an investigation?
Absolutely.
It is something which the government should be suo motu asking, because they have been caught red-handed.
Why don't you, Rajiv Rai, ask for this? Why are you depending on the courts to order you? So Akhilesh, if he believes he's done nothing wrong, should go to the High Court and say, I want you to probe this.
Haryana also. Mr. Sambit
Right now, Rajiv, I'm not talking about Haryana, I'm talking about Uttar Pradesh. Don't change the goalpost. We're not talking about Haryana. We're talking about Uttar Pradesh.
I'm replying to Mr. Sambit Patra. I'm replying to Mr. Sambit Patra. I'm replying to Mr. Sambit Patra. When you want that to happen in UP, you should have done that in Haryana and Madhya Pradesh also.
Okay, I'm going to leave it over there.
We will wait till judicial inquiry submits the report.
Okay, I'm going to leave it over there. The reality is that this India Today investigation is being widely discussed as the build-up for the Uttar Pradesh polls begin. It's also absolutely true that the Samajwadi Party has a lot to answer for, answers which simply aren't forthcoming. We've reached out multiple times to Chief Minister Akhilesh Yadav. My colleague Javed Ansari is there. Every hour he's checking with the Chief Minister's office, with Navneet Saigal, all the bureaucrats who work with him. They're saying the Chief Minister won't speak. Well, Mr. Chief Minister, you must speak. You need to speak because you cannot get away by not speaking. 80 reports came to you. Not acting on those reports is not okay. You have blood on your hands. And people in Uttar Pradesh and across the country demand answers. Those answers must be forthcoming and there must be a probe monitored by the courts. That's the only way to ensure. And remember, I'm saying again that it's not about a CBI probe, because that could be biased towards the BJP, that could be biased in favor of the government. Let it be a court-monitored probe. Sambit Patra, Rajiv Rai, Vikram Singh for joining us on India Today. Thank you.